Hi there and welcome to Granny's Maintenance and Woodwork for Women. Today we're changing a washer. Today that one's in my bathroom. Okay, before I start, number one, you need to turn your water off to the house. So go down the front yard, you'll have a water meter there and a tap on it. You need to turn it off. It's usually right. Left loosey, right tighty. Old-fashioned saying. Okay, what you're going to need for a washer change is a washer. That looks a little bit like that thing. Here's another washer which you get in a kit, and you're going to replace that as well, and I'll show you where. And here's a little O-ring. These three tend to go hand in hand, so that's your kit. So okay, you've turned your water off. You're going to release your taps. Just let them open them up. Okay, there should be no water. Sometimes you get a bit of a spat, but then you're ready to go. Tools. We're going to use a little screwdriver because the very top of our tap has a little plate which I've got to pry out. I can use these because inside that tap there's a hexagonal nut on the top of my tap fitting holding the outer part on, the part that I screw. And you'll need one of these to actually get it out of the wall. Or you will use one of these, a multi-grip. I used to use these other parts. I've got old fittings, so they're basically square inside my wall. I changed the laundry one not so long ago. That piece goes into it. You put that over it, screw it tight or unscrew it. The only thing I found is this house is about 6 years old and those taps have been there probably just as long, so they were well and truly seized. Thus, out came the multi-grips. These things are for heavy-duty work. So that's what I used. So your multi-grips, you're going to need your screwdriver. The top nut that you need to take off is a hexagonal one. So I'm using my driver and I've got a hexagonal turner. I can't think what they call it, a hexagonal bit. And I'm going to pop that in my driver, put it in reverse. Okay, and that's ready to undo that, and then I can take my tap fitting out. So let's get started. Okay, to start with, we're going to take out the little cap in the top. And if you feel around this, you will feel for, oh, there we go, a little hole. And that's where you put your screwdriver in, that cap will come out. I've had that cap out earlier, so it was already a bit loose. Now, inside of this, there's a hexagonal nut, as I said. I'm going to put my driver in reverse, and I'm going to take that off. Okay. Ooh, look at that. I've taken the whole thing out. I think I've got a little bit carried away. Hang on. Right. Now, how that should go, that wasn't screwed in very well, obviously. Right. And I screwed this off. This little nut should fit inside the top of that, and that's where this little cap goes on top of that. That nut hooks onto this, and that holds the tap on, and that turns left or right, depending on whether you want the tap on or off. This one has a particularly unusual little piece there, and under that is the actual tap fitting which screws out, and like I said, I was playing with it, so I pulled it out. Now if you have a look at the bottom of this fitting, they're all a little bit different. Wherever the red washer is, you take that out and you replace that with a new one. And I noticed somebody has used some plumber's tape around here, so I might actually put a little bit fresh on and we'll get going. Oh, and directly under there, I thought there was another washer. No, all good. Okay, I'm just going to go and clean this and put some tape on. I'll be back. Okay, here's our tap fitting, and I've just replaced the tape around the, what do you call it, the thread. Just purely so to give a better seal, and that's this stuff. It's called plumber's tape. It's a little bit like glad wrap in the sense that it clings onto you. It's a pain in the neck sometimes. You have trouble getting it off. But look, I tell you what, it's excellent stuff. I use that on outside taps, etc. Okay, now I took that other washer out and I've just put a fresh one in. So there's the new washer. It just goes down into that hole. It sits on a little cover. Mine's floating because there's a bit of water in there, but it's sitting. Yep, it's sitting where it should. There's like a little ring that it sits on. That's the seat for this tap. Okay, we're going to put a new washer on there. This is this washer I told you about. This is your tap. This is the bottom. This is going to screw into the base of your sink. the pipe. So I'm pushing that down. Whoop, I don't want that coming off. That's very nice there. That tape just helps seal any more leaks. It'll minimise any more problems. Okay, so I've got my washer down there. I'm going to place that. I've got to line it up. Use the big one. That's better. One more turn. Okay, that's nice and tight. Okay, when we took this off, there is nowhere for O-rings on this particular tap. I would have liked to show you that. It's a slightly different setup. But we're going to put it back the way we found it. Now, as much as that's a bit messy, it's only a little bit of dirt. Okay, we're going to pop this little fitting on. See how it's got an unusual cut. It's not a circle. It's like a circle, but then two sides are down. That's to marry in with this tap fitting. So you put it on and that threads down nicely. Now we're going to place our cap on top of that. That will fit over that little head. And this one we put our screw in, the one with the two little notches on it. That's going to go in there. And then we're going to tie that down. Look. Don't want to cross the threads. Come on, there's your pop. Okay, that's better. Now I'm just doing it with my finger to start with, but I'm going to use my driver. I'm going to put it in forward, but I'm only going to use it quickly. Whoa, so much for that. Okay, I put it down probably a little bit too tight. I didn't want it quite that tight. Okay, put it in reverse and just loosen that a little bit. But that's nice and tight. Okay, tap off, tap on, beautiful. And I'm going to pop my little cap back in. That pops in there. Okie dory, it's done. Okay, now we'll just sum up. Okay, that's the end of it. We've got the water turned back on down the front. Yep, I've got water. Hey, drip stop. It's lovely. It's all working nicely. Guess what? Next week, we're changing, what do they call them? Mixer taps. In other words, one spout, two handles. Now, I've not done that before, so that should be bloody interesting. We'll see if I survive. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good week. I'll see you next week. See ya.